successful pregnancy is a relief to any mother. But to then be told your newborn baby has a condition known as clubfoot. Images of painful surgery to a tiny body and years of recuperation. You wouldn't wish it on anyone. But happily, no more, thanks to the rediscovery of a non-invasive procedure pioneered 50 years ago.
Now, who's who here? Is this Kelly?
This is Kelly.
Kelly?
And that's Haley.
Haley. How are you? Can we crack a smile there? Small one, hey?
Kelly and Haley, the adorable twins of Nondumiso and Cannon from Khayelitsha. Just over 4 months old, identical in every way except one. Kelly was born with club feet. Nondumiso found out when she had a pregnancy scan.
I asked them, what is clubfoot? I have never heard about it, and I've never saw anyone with clubfoot. So they showed me by the hands that the feet they have to face this way, they're facing inwards. So I was terrified, and then they told me, but I must not worry, it's treatable.
10 years ago, if you were lucky, surgery was the only option for a baby born with clubfoot in South Africa.
The thing about clubfoot surgery is extremely complex. You are operating on a very small child with very small bones and a lot of structures that you need to realign and put back in place.
It took one mother whose child was born with clubfoot to change all that. Karen Moss's son Alex was born in January 2003.
How did you feel when you were hit with this term clubfoot?
I don't think you really absorb it at first. It's a huge shock. If you don't cure clubfoot or treat it, you basically walk on the top of your feet. Your normal feet were like that, your clubfoot's like this. And that was what he looked like, with this gorgeous little baby with these feet that were turned over. I actually felt complete fear and terror for him because I didn't know what was going to happen. Was he going to get teased? Would he be able to walk? Would he be in pain?
After 9 weeks of treatment, Alex wasn't showing much improvement and surgery was recommended. But Karen felt that somewhere in the world there was a better treatment and took to the internet, which was rather primitive in those days.
I just typed in clubfoot. I found a couple of things about clubfoot in horses and a nightclub called Clubfoot in New York. And then I came across this link that said no surgery for clubfoot. And I found this Iowa hospital, University of Iowa Children's Hospital. And then another link to this man called Dr. Ponseti. And then I was really getting excited. And the more I read about it, said that he'd done this in the 1950s, like 50 years ago. So I thought, well, that's impossible. He's either retired or dead.
But the Spanish doctor was still alive, and what's more, at 89 years old, was still pioneering his non-invasive method to correct clubfoot in Iowa, United States.
When you met the good doctor, was he everything you expected?
And more. He was a very charming man, but you could see that he had a very determined side to him. I mean, he'd been swimming against the current for 50 years doing this technique that most other surgeons kind of either didn't know about or didn't really think it was, effective or necessary.
While the conventional method of the time also put the babies in plaster casts to prepare them for surgery, it was a simple difference that gave Ponseti the edge.
What interests me is that casts have been used for many years. So what is so different about the Ponseti method?
And the old method wrongly put their finger on this spot. Whereas Ponseti derived that you have to put this little red dot, you have to put the pressure point where around you manipulate, you put there. So basically if you hold the finger correctly, you put your thumb there, this hand spins the foot out, and then immediately you can start seeing correction.
When Karen, husband Steve and 9-week-old Alex arrived in Iowa, Dr. Ponseti wasted no time, immediately putting Alex's limbs in a cast.
He did what they call an accelerated treatment, because when you come from far away, they change the cast twice a week instead of once a week. So literally within a week, he had done 2 casts and Alex's feet were pretty much straight. It was like a miracle to me. I couldn't believe it.
Just 16 days later, the Mosses could return home, with Alex in his final cast.
We went back to see him when Alex was 4 and Dr. Ponseti was 93. He was having a conference about clubfoot. He checked Alex's feet again. And Alex does everything in sport. You know, he's done gymnastics, he plays cricket, he plays hockey.
You'd think that the story ends with Alex literally up and running and Karen a very happy mother. But she felt that the Ponseti method should be reaching more babies throughout Southern Africa. Now, it was Dr. Ponseti who was quite keen for you to spread the word.
Yeah, he was very excited that we were the first South Africans that had been there. He just said to me, there's a lot of children born there every year with clubfoot. I don't like to think of them not having mistreatment. And you're a mother, and in most countries, it has been mothers who have got my method going just through sheer, determination.
In 2005, Karen launched STEPS, an NGO to introduce the Ponseti method to treat children born with clubfoot. Initially, she brought Ponseti surgeons out to train the South African orthopedic community. Dr. Jacques du Toit attended the first training. Today, he's on the board of STEPS.
I'm just amazed that something research developed 60 years ago is making such a difference now.
It's actually quite an amazing story. But the interesting thing is he based all this on very good science, but somehow the world learned about it, but did not adapt to it. It took a long time from him and a few other groundbreaking clubfoot Ponseti surgeons to make it the gold standard in the world today. Basically what we do is we get the little pressure point, we call it the tailor head.
Today, clubfoot clinics operate in the majority of state hospitals around South Africa. Here at Tygerberg, a 2-week-old baby is having his first cast.
And this is just a manipulation, so just manipulating.
What is fascinating is that after just 3 months of wearing casts like this, the baby's gone from a clubfoot to it being splayed in the opposite direction. This brace is just to stop the foot from returning to that original position, and that can take about 4 years to reinforce.
Just over a year old, Leia wears the brace only when she sleeps. For her mother, Candy, memories of that telling pregnancy scan are not happy ones.
It was very scary. We went for just a normal routine scan, and the sonograph lady just basically said, 1, 2, okay, bilateral talipes. And I was like, what? And she was like, yep, 2 club feet, we'll book you in for a level 3 scan to confirm. That was it.
How did you feel?
Devastated. My husband was away, didn't have any idea what it meant for the future, what it was basically. So it was exceptionally upsetting.
Candy, do you think if you hadn't met Karen, they would have talked about the Ponseti method when Aliyah was born?
Not at all. At my scan, they were saying about splints and surgery and breaking of her feet. And when I corrected them, they actually got quite aggressive with me and said that's not the way that they do it.
Yeah, it must be so heartwarming to see those little feet turn in such a short time.
Within the first set of casts that were off, there was such a remarkable difference. Everyone was like, oh, she's fixed. And I'm like, no, not quite. There's still a long road ahead.
And for Candy's daughter, that road has been pioneered by Alex Moss, now 11 years old.
It's pretty cool to know that all the babies in the hospital, all the braces and stuff is brought from my mom.
Little Kelly will need 2 to 3 more plaster casts, a little operation on her Achilles to allow the foot to extend, and then she'll be ready for braces.
Both can't wait to see her walking and running around the house. I know that it'll be one of those mad days where you just need to stop this one and the other one, you know what I mean? But we'll always look back on the fact that we've come a long way with her.
Don't you think it's interesting that this treatment stems from one woman from South Africa who went to America, meets a doctor who's developed this way of treating clubfoot?
I thank the Lord for that. And Kelly can be the same as Haley, because I was afraid they're twins. She's not going to understand why she's unable to do stuff that Haley can do.
Although statistics are not exact, on average 2 children in 1,000 born will have club feet. 1 in 500.
It's the most common musculoskeletal, we call it, bone and muscle birth defect that you can get.
There must be so many babies born in the rural areas who don't get this treatment at all and are left with club feet.
You're so right, and that's why I feel so passionate about it. The nice thing about the Ponseti method is efficient, it's economical, and it doesn't have to be an orthopedic surgeon to do this treatment.
I think that I'll never lose that part of me that was the mother that was told my newborn had clubfoot. Never. It'll always be part of my life. It is something that keeps me going, because I think every child should have that chance to be able to run and walk and play and do everything like any other kid can.